Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a weird movies self-promotion podcast, joined today by Giles Edwards, as I often am.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there
Or
he
hello, everyone. There we go.
is. Staring at the wrong camera. Um, so we have some movies to get through today. No guest today. We will have guests to announce in the future. Uh, don't have the dates scheduled yet, but we do have some news, I guess, to start out with our self-promotion news, something that we had teased. That's not what I wanted to share, although that is the bit of news. It's just the wrong share.
Tease of a tease.
The tease of the tease. My goodness, I think I have shared the wrong one again. There we go. This
Hey.
is what I
Hey.
Um, so Giles, do you want to describe what you're looking at?
Yes, this is a cover of a book spread out so we can see the back, spine, and front from left to right. It is in a lovely deep coffee brown as the base, and along the spine, written top to bottom, which I think is nice because that'll make it universal between the US and Europe because they do different angles for their letters if they're along the side there, is the title of this volume, the first volume of two-volume form. And I described the right-hand side last week as a César, slightly distorted, him, of course, being the somnambulist of fame from the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And on the left is a rather spiffy logo. On the top, a couple Polaroid-shaped
Hold
little
on. Let
snap.
me bring up a bigger,
Oh,
if you're going to the second, the back cover, let me bring up a bigger back cover,
right.
special back cover. So this is an earlier version of the back cover without the publisher logo or barcode on it. So
Oh, well, it starts with our glorious logo, a couple Polaroid-shaped snapshots with some dates on them, titles and stills from movies of import, and a little spiel if you want me to read that or if you'd
read the
like to read.
spiel. Sure.
All right. Covering everything from art house surrealism to next generation cult movies to B-movie atrocities to and unclassifiable oddities, 366 Weird Movies has been publishing online since 2009. Here are our canonical choices of the 366 weirdest movies worthy of your eyeballs and the day you should watch them on in all new capsule reviews delivered with our usual combination of sly humor and serious insight.
And there we go. And I think that's accurate enough. And there are some of the fake calendar pages showing some
Yeah.
featured movies and the day you should watch them on, although not the reason you should watch them on that day. We have a Page of Madness on May 14th, Manos, The Hands of Fate on January 30th, as everyone would have expected, and of course, Metropolis on January 2nd.
Oh
There
yeah.
we go.
Well, this
And
suggests. Oh,
go on, Giles. Go on.
oh, I was going to say this suggests further down the pipeline we can eventually start churning out page-a-day calendars with
Exactly.
even smaller reviews.
Exactly. I would love to do that. And so that was volume one covering January 1st to June 30th. No idea when, word on when volume two will come out, but it is ready to go. Hopefully both volumes will be ready are available because it's pretty much ready right now by the Christmas season. If you go to Amazon to buy it, you can look at this, what I'm going to show you here, this sample uh, of the hardcover version. Does come in hardcover or softcover, only $10 more for hardcover. This is copyrighted material. There's our cover, some title pages, an introduction by me, thanks and acknowledgement. bring certain attention to one of my thanks. The third paragraph of thanks says, although Giles Edwards is already mentioned prominently in the credits, he deserves an additional acknowledgement for his extensive and invaluable copy editing of this author's error-riddled prose. This book truly could not have been completed without Giles's contributions.
Oh, thank you kindly, Greg. It was a pleasure and a fun time zipping through all that stuff.
366. Well, you didn't have to do all 366,
No.
all the ones I wrote. Here next are some bios of the contributors, a list, alphabetical list of every movie in our 366 canon with the volume and page it appears on, so that people can be disappointed when they buy volume 1 to see that Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny is actually in volume 2.
Well, see, that one is definitely worth the wait
Yeah.
because that
Once
was
you
an early canon, I believe.
Well, probably middle. But once you have, all or both volumes, you'll be happy to have both table of contents all together. And this allows you to see what you're missing from volume 2. I'd like to point out page 20 is not included in this sample.
Oh,
And the last
good.
thing in the yes, page 20 is a very special page, and we didn't want to spoil it. But we do have two examples of full-length reviews for people to peruse online. We won't go through them now. First one is Tetsuo the Iron Man, which is our January 1st entry, chosen because that is Shinya Tsukamoto's birthday. And that review was written for us by GE, General Electric.
They do good work.
Yeah, they donated a review. Second review available in the sample is Metropolis, January 2nd, which is National Science Fiction Day
Oh,
and the
cool.
day the word robot was coined. So that's a perfect day
Nice.
to watch Metropolis. And that review is from me. And there are some stills as well. And then we have another copy of the back cover.
Oh, so not only are they getting 366 delightful reviews, they're getting 366 pieces of cinematic trivia.
That's true. That is true. And it's always been that way. The reviews, just to remind folks, are not simply the same ones that are already on the site, but much shorter and more concise ones that have actually been polished to be the perfect, platonically ideal versions of the reviews of each
That's
movie.
right. Unlike some of the ones on the website, these won't creepily come on to you.
They won't come on to you, and they won't just drone on and on and on. But both versions are available, so you will always be able to go to the longer one and get some long-winded stuff with more trivia and links and stuff.
We recommend you get a copy of each, one for your home library and the paperback for your car. That can fit easily, I'm sure, right above your windshield and fall on you at an inopportune moment.
Right. And hopefully, maybe next week I'll have some actual physical copies. Those have not arrived yet. They just went on sale on Tuesday. Tuesday, I think. Yes, Tuesday. From Bear Manor Media, our publisher. You can buy it directly from them at bearmanormedia.com, also on Amazon, and eventually I hope to have at least a few copies that we can sell directly and keep the markup for ourselves. But we are certainly hoping people will purchase that. And that's enough self-promotion. That's 10 minutes of self-promotion. That's enough. Let's promote some other people's stuff. Movies that are coming out in some form this week. Giles, our first still, would you like to describe it?
Yeah, I'll try to do so quickly. This is a black and white photograph side view of most of the interior of an automobile through the window. This car is not in North America, as suggested by where the steering wheel is. and it looks like a pretty generic sedan-looking thing. However, the driver does stand out a bit in that it's a very muscle-bound individual, leather driving gloves, just that firm grip, and much of the body is obscured, but I can see some flurries around the shoulders, head. There might be some animal-style ears pressed up against the top of the car. And of course, for safety while driving, this individual is wearing a gas mask.
All right, and do you know what we're looking at?
Um, oh gosh, is this Psychosis?
It's Psychosis. It sure looks like Psychosis, doesn't it? The Psychosis, a Australian movie. You correctly concluded that it was not from the United States. Black and white movie set in the criminal underworld. It's about a fixer, a criminal fixer who experiences auditory hallucinations that initially help him to do his job, but as this particular caper or whatever it is he becomes involved in uh, drags him into what the film copy describes as a surreal maelstrom of people driving with the steering wheel on the wrong side.
Oh my
That's me.
word, madness. Doesn't even begin to describe it.
So, as I say, Australian black and white. There are, I believe, drug dealers, zombies, and hypnotists in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was definitely heavy dabs of supernatural throughout the interesting trailer that we
Right,
will.
probably a horror crime uh, thing. And trailer implies it's very plot heavy. It's going to be very plot heavy
Yeah.
psychological thriller. And now you can buy it right now on VOD. If you have access to Hoopla, you can rent it for free. And it will be on Tubi on October 4th. So if you like your ad-supported free version, there it is on October 4th. Um, Chance I might see this weekend.
Next.
So in fact, I think I'll plan on it. Why not?
Oh, that's some bold statement there. Looking forward to your remarks. The movie does look pretty cool.
All right. So that's the newest release. This one also sort of a new release, although it was made in 2022. Now on Blu-ray, we have a poster here, Giles. Can you describe it?
Yes, this is a cartoon poster, a nice two-dimensional old style with featuring prominently walking in front of a backdrop of a small cityscape is a young woman in a white bridal-looking dress with back veil cape thing on the top of the head, whatever the exact term for that is, holding a bouquet of slightly exploding flowers, although the stalk looks a whole lot like a broccoli, but that might just be the style. She is looking very dismayed, which, having seen the trailer, I know some reasons for it, but the most obvious one is that her forward thrusting left leg mid stride, as she observes it, is not so much a human's leg as a kind of furry monster leg with clawed toes on an, orange haired, beefy limb there.
Indeed. And so this is, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but this is the way I'm going to pronounce it for now. Signe Baumane's My Love Affair with Marriage, her second feature film, her first. She's made many, many shorts. She apprenticed under Bill Plimpton, Giles's Bill,
Yeah, I can see, yeah, traces of Plimpton in this.
for a long time, from Latvia, but an American citizen. And her first feature was called Rocks in My Pocket and was about depression, an autobiographical story about depression. This one also looks to be autobiographical story about what I'm guessing from the trailer are two marriages, but they're who knows? There may be more.
Yeah, it's becoming a woman was definitely a major theme I picked up in the trailer there, and the various magical and otherwise implications.
And what it means to be a woman and a woman in marriage
Right.
specifically, and some of the rocky parts of marriage, whether they amount to psychological abuse or merely sort of two people knowing how to get under each other's skin really well.
Mhm.
Um, they get explored in this story. I don't know how weird it will be. It seems like it has a lot of, animated metaphors drawn on screen. Um, for example, when she talks about being in love, she goes into the brain and shows various chemicals spouting out of synapses as the person falls in love. She turns into a cat on screen as she gets maybe catty. Um, so some, and obviously not realism.
Yeah, there also seem to be some musical numbers, which
Yes.
can often tilt things more one way than the other. Certainly looks very whimsical while simultaneously serious, which is an impressive line to straddle. So, yeah.
Okay. That is Signe Baumane's My Love Affair with Marriage on Blu-ray now or DVD, not exactly available. I'm sorry, on Blu-ray or DVD. I think that's what I said. Not exactly available on VOD, although I did note if you're a Spectrum cable subscriber, you can get it through your cable
Hmm.
subscription. Um, Other than that, hopefully it'll pop up on VOD soon enough for wider exposure for people. Signe Baumane probably has a good following, so there will be people who want to buy the physical media version. And the movie, I will say, is also very well reviewed and did well at festivals. It was at
Hmm.
Annecy, which is a pretty prestigious festival. It was at Tribeca, so it's done pretty well, well regarded. But here's another movie, maybe not so well regarded, but popular among its
Right.
group.
You may have lost me. Oh,
Have I lost you?
okay, I'm going in and out. My internet connection is unstable again. Oh, now it's full. Well, something weird's happening on my street, so hopefully we'll get through this next bit. Well, there's a person, a superhero, standing in front of a moon with a pair of panties on their face. Did you get that?
Basically, yeah, that'll be enough. A person, superhero standing in front of the moon with panties on his face. This would be HK, Forbidden Superhero, probably better known in earlier days as Hentai Kamen, which is what the HK stands for. Basically translates as pervert superhero. He is in this comedy, Japanese comedy spoof, this superhero who wears women's underwear and particularly panties to cover his face as a mask, gets his superpowers from women's panties. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Thereby the perversion, I suppose. A lot of Japanese have a panty fetish, among other fetishes that are
Well, certainly there's enough of that. Yeah, a lot is maybe too much, but certainly it is a known phenomenon.
yes. There's actually historical reasons behind it.
Oh, well,
Japanese women did not wear such underthings up until Westerners introduced them. They
okay.
became associated with more sexually liberated women.
Huh.
There you go. Um, this, I was surprised. I could not find, it's a movie from 2013. I could not find an earlier release of it on Blu-ray besides this one. So this could be its North American debut. There were several imports available, but oddly enough, I know that this played festivals and did pretty well there, but did not appear to be available in the US or Canada on Blu-ray until this release. So
Oh, okay.
that's surprising. It's from Media Blasters, who don't, there are no extras or anything to it. Um, it's a bare bones release, but hey, they are releasing something no one else has. So more power
That's
to them.
yeah, it's
Thank you.
no bad thing there.
Um, Giles, did you watch a trailer? Do you have any comments on HK?
This was the one trailer I missed, and no further comments. It's an intriguing image and one of those things that I may end up seeing one day, but no further thoughts.
Okay, I'll add one more thing is that it's in our reader suggested queue, and I just want to verify for myself that there are no special or extra features listed. No, and it's from Media Blasters, available now. All right, here's a nice spread. Now, Giles, I hope you don't break up for this one. There's a lot to describe, so you'll probably just hit everything kind of brief.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'll mention two of my favorite syllables together, steelbook, which is the kind of release that this is. Far left side, we see the volume in question with a rather nice cover. There's a spotlight upper left-hand corner, otherwise kind of dark, and it's shining down on a fella in a rather obviously 70s style newscaster, presentation, professional suit, long, wide tie, and his head has been replaced by flame. Now, going to the right-hand side, we're seeing the steelbook open from the outside, and we see that image on the right, the cover, and on the left is a big ooh spiral thing, black and white, and down the middle is the title of the piece, and then we see the interior of this steelbook, which has a back shot of the presenter in question, and on the right, superimposed on an audience inclusive snapshot with camera lights and all, is suggesting there are two discs that come with this particular steelbook. And below are the extra little goodies. They do not show any pictures of the discs, but I'm sure they're going to be coming in there. Left-hand side, it looks like a little pamphlet or an insert for those who might be coming to the talk show involved here. A signed photograph of a lobby card for one of his celebrity guests. Two things that look like they're bookmark-sized advertisements for another one of the guests, and an ominous picture of a woman's face from the base of the nose to the base of the forehead. And I really like this touch. For those out there who are still smoking in their car, they have an air freshener themed on the television program in question, Night Owls.
I looked at that. I didn't catch that it's an air freshener. I thought it was just a sticker, but you're right. There's a little spot to affix it to your rear or your rear view mirror. Yeah, so it's Late Night with the Devil, a very lavish steelbook release here with Blu-ray and DVD. I don't believe it was 4K. I believe that's just Blu-ray and DVD. Re uh, let me check that again. Does not say 4K. It says Blu-ray. So it's Blu-ray and DVD, not 4K. And they could have put it out in 4K since it's so new, but there you have it. This is a movie about, well, Giles, you reviewed it. Do you want to describe the plot?
Yeah, it's about the final episode of a late night talk show called Night Owls, which is hosted by Jack Delroy, who in the movie universe was a popular radio show host before he went on to television. And this is sort of his last chance. It's sweeps week, and Well, if you don't know what that is, feel free to look it up or in some old tome around your house. And so he is going all out to try to keep his show on the air for another season. And so he's made what proved to be some ultimately controversial and unpleasant choices for this program. It's an interesting combination of kind of found footage, which is what was aired for this final episode of Night Owls, and for the behind the scenes bit during commercial breaks. The screen ratio changes to widescreen, black and white, and has a sort of fly on the wall documentary feel to it during those interludes when he's talking either to his, the floor manager or the guys in tech or, dealing with this, that, or the other issues.
Yeah.
It's a neat exercise in found footage. I generally don't care for those, but different. Certainly different enough for me. And Damien Dalsmashian is, I think that's his name,
Yeah.
is very good as Jack Delroy. It's really, he's on screen virtually the entire thing as the center of focus. So this is for any fans of his, I highly recommend you check this one out because it's about 90 minutes of him.
Yeah, it's a big breakthrough role for him, and movie was very well received. Giles and I have a little bit of a disagreement on this one. While I certainly like it as a sort of straightforward horror movie, I do question its weirdness. The only sort of weirdness part comes in at the very, very end, sort of the coda part. But Giles thought it was enough to recommend it for a apocrypha candidate for the list. Um, I recommend it as just a regular horror movie, well-made horror movie to watch. And I do want to point out that it is probably a perfect movie to watch this Halloween, since it is
Mhm.
set on Halloween, a Halloween night broadcast. The idea of a found footage of a Hollywood Halloween broadcast has actually been done before, but I think it's probably done better with more money here. And although this was a moderately budgeted affair, it did pretty well at the box office, and I suspect made its money back. And I don't think there'll be a sequel, but two.
Yeah, quite.
Um, but I'll point out some other things. What we've been showing you is the, limited edition steelbook. You could also buy this right now on just a plain DVD. Um, and in, odd bit of timing, the standard Blu-ray releases on a different day, October 8th. So if you don't want to spring for the Steelbook, you could get the DVD now or wait till October 8th for the Blu-ray. And it does come with advertises three special features: commentary with David Dastmalchian, a Q&A with the directors, Colin and Cameron Cairns, and some behind the scenes footage. And of course, all those extra doodads if you buy this limited edition steelbook thing. So
And
fans of
yeah.
the movie, perfect edition. Here's
Yeah.
another coming up, another probably improved edition of a movie. Giles, what do you see for our final
Oh,
movie today?
well, this looks like part of the packaging obscures another part of the packaging, but this is a Blu-ray disc cover. The main part is red and has the title with the appropriate Spanish punctuation with exclamation mark inverted on the left-hand side, and as we traditionally see it here in the US on the right-hand side. Below that is a very grainy photo-looking face, head tilted kind of despondently, possibly buried in something. I'm not entirely certain. A lot of markings on the face. I can just barely make out. It's a fellow with a mustache and beard looking not altogether well. And then it gives the credit for the filmmaker, and obscuring this, at least from this image of the packaging, is a bookmark width of blurb concerning the movie in question and a bit of its historical context, as well as for this edition, the advisement that it is limited to 3,000 copies.
Right. And this, of course, is the already canonically weird Viva la Muerte by Fernando Arrabal. And I'm going to tell you that the text there in yellow probably tells you everything you need to know about this release better than we would. So I'll just read through it. As the Spanish Civil War draws to a close, Fando, a young boy, is tormented by violently conflicting feelings towards his mother, who he suspects may have had a role in his father's capture by fascists. A shockingly provocative work of surrealist cinema, certainly true, from Fernando Arrabal, co-founder of the Panic Movement art collective alongside Alejandro Jodorowsky and Roland Topor, gets omitted there, unfortunately. Uh, Poor Roland, he never gets mentioned. Then acclaimed by critics and scorned by censors, Viva la Muerte achieved notoriety as a midnight movie and was a favorite of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. This release includes two documentaries. One of them is short, one of them is full length, a new introduction, a copy of the Projection Booth podcast covering the movie, and of course, a booklet with new and archival writings. It's from Radiance, and looks like a pretty lavish set. Anybody who has not seen this probably should be warned. It has some very violent scenes, some very grotesque scenes. If you do not like butchered cows' carcasses in your movie, this is not the movie for you. It is kind of an autobiographical movie for Arabal because his father really was captured by fascists. Don't know if his mother turned the father in or not, but his father was captured by fascists, disappeared for Fernando's boyhood, ended up in a mental institution, and then one day escaped from the mental institution and was never seen again. And that's the real story. And a lot of it is covered in this movie from the perspective of the boy, Fernando himself, in a much more surreal version as he imagines what might have happened to his father. Uh, and strangely enough, parts of it are really Fellini-esque too, as well. So it's a strange sort of mix of this sort of Fellini-esque, whimsical, nostalgic childhood memoir with this really grotesque, hardcore, surrealist shock imagery. It makes for a somewhat challenging, but certainly very memorable movie. Giles, have you seen it by any
I
chance?
have not, but I did reread your review before this, and so yeah, that's sounds like quite an experience to me. And now I can see it in 4K if I'm so inclined.
If you're so inclined. And that does it for our releases this week. Next week, we have no guests planned. However, there are a couple of guests in the pipeline who we're not going to announce yet. Doubt they'll be coming on next week, but we will return to having guests soon. And of course, the biggest piece of news is that the 366 Weird Movies guide is out, and we will put links to buy it, and probably
Every corner of the website.
over the next few weeks we're going to bore you to death talking about it, but we would certainly appreciate it if you would buy a copy and have that, because we worked very hard on it. over many years.
Mm.
So thanks for listening to us as we did some self-promotion and promoted some weird movies that you might want to see. Giles, would you have a pick from this week?
A pick of
Yeah,
the of what we've just discussed?
yeah.
I mean, Psychosis, I think, it looked the most intriguing to me.
Okay.
Um, but that I imagine, the latest movie, Viva la Muerte, that looks like the one most should have seen, if not necessarily enjoying the experience throughout.
That is the most uh, sort of significant, maybe,
Yeah.
release. All right. So that sounds good. And I think with that, we can, unless you have any final words,
No, no.
going
Wrap
to
up with tidy 39 minutes.
we're gonna sign off. See you next week.
Like and
Everybody,
subscribe. Tell your friends,
like,
etc.
subscribe, and buy the book. Bye bye.